Hello folks and welcome to part 4, the final part of this year's LOLLUJO Cup. I'm Kev and I'm very excited to host this two-legged final between Norwich and Real Madrid. Two teams I managed in this season's non-league to legend. A link to that series is down in the description below. Norwich, a team that we never actually won the Champions League with, and we left Norwich to go to Real Madrid. I think that was the shape of the save, and then we left Real Madrid to go to Dortmund. Watch the save to know for sure. But theoretically, Real Madrid should win because we did win the Champions League with them. But anything can happen. We're about to find out what that anything is. But before we get there, another reminder that if you haven't yet pre-ordered FM23, you can do that using my discount code LOLLUJO. It's at the top of the description below. It gets you the game for a discounted price of £32.05. That's a 29% discount off of the recommended retail price. And it supports the channel as well. It's win-win. You get to save money on your game. It still has the beta. It still unlocks on Steam. You get a Steam code straight away. Just import it into Steam. The game is right there, waiting to be unlocked as soon as the beta drops, and you can play along with the beta with the rest of us. It's right there. Discount code LOLLUJO. Go make it happen. So here we are then, boys and girls. First leg, Norwich are at home. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday the 4th of September. We've gone back in time to before the release date of FM22. Absolutely mind-blowing. Looking through the Norwich team, the only player unavailable is Bindi, who's picked up a suspension for this first leg. So andthe getting a relatively rare start for this tournament. He's played loads in the Dortmund team that's now been knocked out, the older version of Tippel. He's actually been on the bench for a lot of the Norwich games, but he does get a start, which I actually think that might be a benefit to Norwich because Tippel bursting out of midfield is always very entertaining, and Sergio Delgado is well clear as top scorer in the tournament so far. One of the best new gens I've managed this year. If he's on song with Schultz setting up the goals for him, Norwich win, even though they never actually won the Champions League. With the Real Madrid team, the only player unavailable, again through suspension, is Drury. He's suspended also for the first leg. He is a key playmaking component of this Real Madrid team, and we are able to shuffle things around. We've got a lot of very good central midfield players, but having Drury unavailable is something of a problem. Let's do a football. Both of you do a football. It is diamond against diamond, which is another thing that I think is quite interesting. We've had so many systems where we've played 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress that everyone says is the crazy overpowered system in FM22. But when it actually comes down to it, the two teams that we played the diamond with, and bear in mind as well, the Streamer Showdown that I won was also with a diamond. So all of the big successes of the year have all come with a diamond. So maybe after all, I've just been corrected by the chat. Drury was at Dortmund. It's not Drury that's unavailable. It's who is it who's unavailable out of the Real Madrid midfield? This is why we're doing this on Twitch. So Bell, not Drury. Thank you, chat. I've got my team. I've recorded however many episodes of however many matches at this point. That's the first time I've got a player confused with a different team. I'll take it. But yeah, it is interesting that the diamond looks like it was the tactic all along. We were all wrong. Forget the Gegenpress. It was the diamond. I mean, this is still Gegenpressing, to be fair. It's a Gegenpressing diamond, but it's not a 4-2-3-1. Wingers are for losers, and we all knew it all along. Delgado with the corner, but it's headed clear. Koulibaly is there to collect, and he plays it in looking for Marina, but Paviot is there to cover comfortably. I think I want Norwich to win. I think there's been a bit of a theme throughout this series that I'm kind of learning where my real loyalties lie, depending on how I feel in the matches between the teams and when I get excited and when I get sad. And as much as I enjoyed managing Real Madrid, it wasn't quite the same as managing Norwich, because Norwich were rubbish when we took over. Real Madrid, we took them over, and even before, believe it or not, even before I got there, they were already Real Madrid, whereas this Norwich team, they were Norwich. And we turned them into, like, Liverpool. Is that a good comparison? We're a pretty good team, but not quite as good as the best teams. And, oh, Gonzalo Delgado. We thought it would be a Delgado who settles things today, and it's the wrong one. It's Norwich 0, Real Madrid 1, and, well, I'm distraught. I'm genuinely quite upset seeing that happen. Delgado dinks it over the top of Hoyenhal. Hoyenhal, one of my personal heroes of the whole of FM22, loved that man. And unfortunately, he's not able to make himself big enough to keep the ball out there. And Delgado breaking the deadlock. And now he's going to take a corner. If they score again before half time, I'm just going to sulk through the rest of this video. Colin Schultz looking to play the ball over the top though to Delgado. And this is where Sergio Delgado's at his most dangerous, although he's taken it very wide. Why has he gone so wide? What are they doing? They're trying the spectacular. And Delgado should have just diagonally gone towards the goal a little bit more. Goodness me. So that is not the first half I had in mind for this Norwich team. We'll let the assistant managers do their team talks as ever. And fingers crossed, Norwich can find their way back into this. If anything, just to keep it interesting for the second leg, because this is Norwich's home leg. So if Real Madrid win this, I don't think Norwich stand much of a chance going into the second leg, and it could all be over and done with really rather quickly by this Real Madrid team that was so good they won the Champions League even without me. Dinamarco with some very solid defending there, but Hoyenhal is becoming the villain after being a hero for so much of FM22. It really does break my heart to see Hoyenhal be the man who throws it all the way. I've said before in this series that Hoyenhal was never that great. He just played out of his skin at Norwich for whatever reason. And there's a perfect example of it. He wasn't of the same level as a lot of these other players in this Norwich squad. And he's just gifted a goal to Real Madrid. Damian's there to tuck it away. And it's 2-0 to Real Madrid at Norwich. And I'm just really sad now. Right, come on, boys. What have you got for me? Janusek's going to come on. Lewis Shepherd's going to come on. These are game changers if ever I saw him. Caio Caesar's going to come on. And then for Real Madrid, can I just take off the goalkeeper? Is that bad? Would it be bad to take off the goalkeeper here? Koulibaly's going to come off. And we're going to bring Fontaine on in midfield. Rafalski's tired, so Mikhailov can come on for him. And then Adeyemi's actually been very quiet, so Mansa can come on for Adeyemi. And hopefully I've weakened the Real Madrid enough to let Norwich back in the game without it being obvious. I wouldn't want anyone to think I was trying to throw things. That would be terrible. Oh, come on, Norwich! I need to go and put my Norwich shirt on for the second. Like I would if it wasn't already in a storage unit. It's probably squashed up against the Real Madrid shirt in the storage unit, which is even sadder. The Real Madrid shirt is just gloating across the vacuum bag at the Norwich one as we speak. Mikhailov, a centre-back, I might add, dancing down the right-hand side. Gave a goal away in yesterday's episode in the semi-final. But he's going to make one here. Hoyenhal just flap it. I mean, what are we going to do about Hoyenhal? He was such a hero throughout non-league to legend. He has had an absolute nightmare today. It ends 2-0 to Real Madrid. They now have their home leg still to come. And I think we're done. So sad. Here we go then, boys and girls. Second leg. No team has any suspensions, so we are full strength with both. It's Diamond versus Diamond. It's Koulibaly versus Schultz. It's Damian versus Delgado. Silva versus Hoyenhal. 2-0 to Real Madrid off the back of the first leg. And, I mean, we all just need to be Team Norwich. If for no other reason, to make it interesting. Come on, Norwich. Grab the first goal. It's Sandro Tonali with the in-swinging corner for Fernandes. If he scores inside the first 3 minutes, oh, goodness me, that would be excitement o'clock. That would be lovely. As it is, remains 0-0. Mikkel Tadzi with the throw to Real Madrid. This is a weird place to start a highlight. A throw in deep in their own half. And Dinamarco wins it back. It's Schultz who's dropped very deep there. And Pavia on the right-hand side, looking to beat his man and find the cross. Delgado, Pedro Luis are all in the middle waiting, as is Etienne Tipple. But his header is straight into the hands of Thomas Silva. And that's a couple of early chances for Norwich. Norwich have come out of the blocks ready to do a football. And that is, oh, for goodness sake, what has Fernandes done there? I don't even want to see the replay. This is totally self-inflicted from Norwich. It's not even that Real Madrid are outplaying Norwich. Norwich are just throwing it away with moments of absolute madness. Look at this clearance from Fernandes. He's literally just kicked it right up in the air and basically played a through ball to Adeyemi. It's 1-0 to Real Madrid on the night, 3-0 on aggregate, and Real Madrid are just about there. Real Madrid are going to be the best team I managed in FM22. What a boring sentence to say. Oh, the best team you managed in FM22 was the team that won the Champions League in 2022. What a boring man. Well, what on earth can Norwich do from here to drag themselves back? Nothing is what they can do from here. What they need is Real Madrid to self-combust the way Norwich have 3 times over across this tie so far. Delgado with the corner. It ends up with Carlos Vitor. Koulibaly from range. And luckily, doesn't manage to dip it down underneath the crossbar. It remains 1-0, 3-0 on aggregate. And Real Madrid are just... I mean, I've been saying all throughout these knockout stages that this Real Madrid team's speciality is taking a lead and then just sitting back and not letting the other team back into the game. And that's exactly what they've done across these 2 legs. Norwich have got to do something absolutely spectacular to just keep the fire alive. Pedro Luis. I don't think Pedro Luis has scored a single goal in the LOLLUJO Cup, by the way. He's played 7 matches now, and I don't think he's scored a goal. He has been, similar to Hoyenhal, a huge disappointment. Another example of a player who was a bit of a cult hero in the save because he'd been there a long time. And because of that, he played well, but actually wasn't anywhere near as good as the likes of Delgado and Schultz, who were playing around him. And I think that shows in a tournament situation like this, where you separate them from the game world, that they were heroes in. Erenur to Dinamarco. And now Dinamarco across to Fernandez. Colin Schultz, who's having to go deeper and deeper to try and have any impact on the game. And he's just not having any impact on the game. Adeyemi playing it out to Mikotadze, and Real Madrid just swarming forward again. Adeyemi drifts out wide. He's had a very good couple of matches over the course of this final. It's Gonzalo Delgado, isn't it? Adeyemi to Mikotadze, Koulibaly, and it takes a huge deflection, and Hoyenhal doesn't dive, and that goal sums up Norwich's performance across this final. They just look like a team completely outclassed. I think there's a very strong argument to say that the real final was the semi-final between Dortmund and Real Madrid, because that is just sad. Norwich are just not on the same level as this Real Madrid team, and it is becoming clearer and clearer the longer the match goes on. Not necessarily how good the Real Madrid team is, but how actually there's a reason this Norwich team never won the Champions League, because they weren't quite on that level, were they? There's a couple of noticeable weak links. We've looked at Pedro Luis. Dinamarco has been awful. I mean, that's sensational. What a goal from Damien. Wow. That is a stunner from Damien. Let's have a look at this one again. I mean, there's no blame on Hoyenhal for this one. This was stupendous. First touch on, I mean, that ball is waist high. First touch on the volley, side on into the top corner from outside the area. That was one of the best finishes in the history of football. My word. But it's now 3-0, 5-0 on aggregate. And yeah, we're done. This is it. It's so sad. I want to take off Etundi, just try and make some changes at the back. Thierry Small, the hero of the Champions League final, he can come on. Why not? I think this is his first appearance in the entire tournament, but he played in that Champions League final. And he's actually another one of those who does appear in 2 different squads in this tournament. He could have had the statistic of being in 2 squads and not playing in either, because he was in the Everton squad as well and didn't play a game. But now he makes sure he gets at least the 1 appearance. Shall I take off Hoyenhal for a standing ovation? Marco Lovric, forever. Forever the backup to Hoyenhal, because remember, at Schalke, we signed Hoyenhal and Lovric there and then brought them both to Norwich as well. Lovric, forever the backup, does get his moment, his last moment to say goodbye to the channel. Thank you, Marco Lovric. Thank you, Hoyenhal, who I'd like to think still got a standing ovation, even though he was very much found out across these 2 matches. Lovric gets his couple of minutes of appearance and it ends 5-0 on aggregate. And once again, the combination of Real Madrid and temporary Kev, it's like it's the perfect Football Manager 2022 partnership. It looks like they're lifting the World Cup. Actually, it's not quite the World Cup, but I guess we have to celebrate. Yay for Real Madrid. I wish it was Norwich or Leamington. It was a good team though, wasn't it? A really good team. And once again, temporary Kev coming to glory with this Real Madrid team. The most successful manager in Real Madrid history, temporary Kev. And that, boys and girls, is your lot for FM22 content on the channel. I will be back soon. I don't know how soon, because obviously I don't have any secret information. I don't know when the FM23 beta is coming, but as soon as it is, I will be right here with new content for you. I'm going to be managing Chelsea here on YouTube as part of the FM23 beta. Once the full game is out on the 8th of November, we'll be starting Non-League to Legend all over again, this time with Peterborough Sports, who have been promoted to the National League North over on Twitch. I'm probably going to be doing a Peterborough United save during the beta, because I tend to do that every year. And then when the full game is out, I'm not quite sure yet. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see me do on Twitch. And of course, with the Twitch stuff, all of the highlights from all of those Twitch streams go straight over to LOLLUJO 2 here on YouTube. So even if you don't want to use Twitch, you can still watch the content over on Twitch. It's very much edited in the style this series has been, because this was all streamed on Twitch and then edited together here on YouTube. So don't be afraid. Subscribe to LOLLUJO 2 as well. But make sure, if you are not already, that you are subscribed to this channel with your notifications on. So as soon as FM23 content drops, you are the first to know. If you haven't pre-ordered the game yet, the link is at the top of the description. Discount code LOLLUJO gets you the game for £32.05. That's a 29% discount. It is the cheapest price I've been able to find for FM23, and it supports the channel as well. Thank you to everyone who's done that so far. And if you haven't yet, I urge you to do it soon, because at some point, the sports interactive element of that discount goes away, and it will become a little bit more expensive, usually on launch of the game, I think. So you've got a few weeks yet. Don't panic just yet. But thank you for watching. Thank you for all the incredible support throughout FM22, and I hope to see you back in the very near future for some FM23 content. Thank you for watching, folks. Toodle pip.